Konnichiwa, minasan. Memorial Day weekend has just passed not that long ago. People like to do a lot of things. I asked my coworkers what they do, and some of them have plans, and some of them decide they want to spend time with family. Some of them don't have plans, and some people go out to do extra special things. This Memorial Day weekend is one of those once-in-a-blue types of Memorial Day weekends and holiday kind of things where I decided I wanted to do something special. I thought I'd set out to do a mission for peace. What is a mission for peace? Well, I want to bring awareness to the cause that peace can be a very strong and influential thing in the world. I was very, very influenced by some of the work that John Lennon and Yoko Ono did years past in the late 60s. And they launched a huge advertising campaign for peace way back when. And pretty much for the whole time up to the death of John Lennon, they pretty much promoted the whole cause. Excuse me. John Lennon did promote quite a few causes. This was one of them that I liked very much. And I figured since, it was Memorial Day, it's the day that we honor those who have fallen through active military duty for the cause of this country. I thought it was a good topic to bring up. And I think a lot of veterans, they have mixed feelings when it comes to war. There's a lot of things that they'll remember, and there's things that they know that happened, but sometimes they don't want to remember. And sometimes, they remember the things they did, and they don't take a lot of pride in that, knowing what they did. I'll give you an example of this. I was actually sitting up here working on some of my stuff, and some of the signage that I was going to use that you see behind me. And my neighbor downstairs actually had his family from Maine, so it was the husband, the wife, and he brought his little girl. And they were down here in Massachusetts to visit, and they were walking up to the unit below me, and I had my window open. I heard the little girl ask the father, "What is it that the Air Force recruits do?" And it just kind of, it touched a spot in my heart, If you ask a child, if a child asks a question like that, and you have to give them an answer as to what they do you think that they would actually understand? You like to give the noble cause and say, well, they protect this country. They protect the good cause of this country. They protect our people. They make sure to keep bad people away. But what you kind of don't want to tell children is what they actually do in the cause of doing that kind of stuff. You don't tell them that, they blow up buildings. You don't tell them that they kill people. You don't tell them that they destroy cities and they destroy towns. I mean, when you get into the military, you pretty much are trained to defend yourself, to stay alive, and also carry out missions. And some of these missions involved rearranging other people's lives. It really changes people's lives forever. If you go to the website www.imaginepeace.com, you'll get to see a website. I think that was pretty much set up by John and Yoko. Actually, Yoko Ono at this point, since John passed a long time ago in the early 80s. And they'll have a song on there. I think there's a video that should be playing called "And This Is Christmas." And they have a video that depicts, some things that actually happen as a result of war and conflict. And when you see some of these vivid images of parents mourning the loss of their children which passed way, way, way too ahead of their time, and the parents are outliving their children, or maybe that they're starving, or maybe they have radiation poisoning. They did have a few clips in there from the bombing of Hiroshima. It really makes you think. They launched this campaign, I believe it was around Christmas time. And, around Christmas time, a lot of people are celebrating. A lot of people are enjoying the holidays and celebrating. But there's always some place out there, somewhere in the world, where there's a war, there's a conflict, and people are suffering, and they're really having a very difficult time. It really makes you think. it's not easy for me to watch that video because I'm very sensitive to that kind of stuff. I really have a heart for humanity, and I don't like to see that going on anywheres. But it kind of makes you think, do you think that the world would be better off if we had more peace in it? Now, realistically, I don't think there'll ever be a time in the world where the whole world will be at peace. But if you can think it, you can breathe it, you can live it, you can eat for peace, you can make love for peace, you can have this whole mantra in your head, much like John Lennon said, of peace. You know, doing things for the cause of peace, rather than having violence or violent thoughts or doing bad things, damaging people's property or hurting other people. Don't you think that the world would be a better place? I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily involve war at that point. It can be stuff that's in your daily life or the people that are around you. I think that if everybody's thinking with that mantra for peace and thinking for the effort to do good things, that would probably promote a better life for humanity. Do you think that the world would be a better place? You have this person, you have that person, you have another person that does that. It kind of spreads out. You know, you have good things and this good mantra of peace passing on. And before you know it, you have a good crowd of people around you that have the same thing going on in your head. Now, people are people. I mean, nobody's ever perfect. I'm not perfect. I think it's important to acknowledge that. But we are conscientious people. We have a conscience to think on our own. We're not animals. It is possible to work towards things if you try. I think that's a very important thing. I made some signs here you can see. I'm not sure if that's going to be something that you'll see in the beginning or the later end of this video, but I made that sign for a purpose, which you'll probably see later on or early on. That is another sign over there. It's a classic sign. It's one that, it's not my original design. It's a design that actually came from John and Yoko when they had their whole, how to describe it, their whole mission for peace that they were advertising as a campaign. So they did several posters like that, and that was the basic one that you could post in your window. So they were really trying to sell this as a product. When you have two products, as John would say, you want war or do you want peace? And you see these things out there enough time, you know, and see that a lot of people are going for peace. Wouldn't you want to buy that and, you know, have that product? I think that that's a very good thing. Let me look at this poster and explain a few things with you. Obviously, you can see the big letters over there. It says war is over, but it's got a design gimmick into it. And if you look at the small lettering down below, it says war is over. And I don't know if you can see it. I can barely see it here. If you want it. So it kind of gives you a choice. I mean, the whole premise behind that is that we do have government officials that we elected and put into office, okay? And it's kind of the premise that John had outlined like this. And I kind of agree with this, that people kind of think that government is going to take care of this and government's going to take care of that. There's some kind of father and entity that will be taken care of by them, all right? Well, who's to say that they're doing stuff all the time that's right, okay? Who has the power here? Oh, the government does. You know, do we going to want to put the blame on the government all the time? You know, there's a tendency to do that sometimes. And yes, I do agree with that. But where's the true power with things? It truly is with the people. People have the power to make things happen. People have choice. People can do great, wondrous things. You know, it's not always those elected officials that have the power. If we want them to be out of power and we want to take them down and put somebody else up there, the people can do that. So when it comes time to elect people, then, you know, you have the power to do what you have to do. Do you want people doing the wrong thing? Do you? No, you don't. You don't want them doing the wrong thing. But you got to think in terms that the power shift is definitely there in the people's favor and the people's hands. It's not the elected officials. When it comes time for the elections, you see them running around and they will be trying to gain the favor of most people. Why? Because they're fearful that if they don't do that, then they're not going to gain the elected office that they're seeking. So it really kind of makes you think about things. I had these posted up all over my car. I did take a video. I think I'm going to probably show you guys that. I was supposed to make bigger signs, but I didn't have time to do that. I actually took, what was it? I took part of Saturday night to actually get the materials and plan this. And pretty much all of Sunday I got one final copy of this and done. And what was this, late Sunday I went to a copying center to make some copies. So I made like 10 copies. I actually put 8 of them in my car, and I put one on my window here right behind me so that people could see that. I thought that was a very good thing. I parked my car in front of the Whole Foods here in Bedford, and I just left it there because, you know, I sleep for most of the day. So I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to do that because I wasn't really going anywhere. But when you set something up and you have to tape signs like that, you want to leave it in a place for a while. Otherwise, if you have to take it up and put it down and all that kind of thing, it becomes a bit of a hassle. So I took advantage of my schedule, dropped my car off at the Stop and Shop here in town, and walked back home. And when I got up here, I took care of a few things, had something to eat, shower, and made myself presentable, and went back to pick up my car, which was pretty cool. But I was somewhat concerned as to whether my car was there. And when you do that kind of stuff, you never know what people are going to think. I also posted another sign up here to kind of add more to the cause. And it says, "An eye for an eye will make us all blind. Mahatma Gandhi." He actually said that. And I thought I put a website on there too. So this is what it looks like. You see it? There you go. That's pretty cool. That way it would give people an idea as to what I'd be talking about, and gives them a website to kind of look up and refer by, because you can only put so much on a car, and also the preparation to make signs like that, it's also a lot of work. So I pretty much took all my weekend to kind of do this thing, but I think it was for an important cause. What do you do on Memorial Day? What's your cause? What's your thing? Are you going to launch a mission for peace? Maybe you will. Maybe you will next time. It's a good thing to promote out there. I thought it was a very good thing. I had a lot of fun with that. I think that any veteran would probably understand that, because I don't think anybody really ever wants to go for war. And when you're a kid, you think it's just all fun and games. You know, it's one of those things. But as a grown-up, it becomes a much more serious type of thing. And, you know, you don't want to see people suffering and that kind of thing. That's my mission for peace, and I hope it inspired some people. I think it's a very noble cause. And even if it's a small thing in this life, and a small way of things, and I got a small group of people, then that small group of people are hopefully inspired to take that mission of peace that I embarked on, and do good things in the world. Bye for now, guys.